These are the brand new Richa Inferno gloves. Let's talk about it. Richa, in partnership with Gerbing, have now produced their first ever heated glove. This comes in at around $219.99 RRP, which is in the mid-upper range in terms of heated gloves in the market. Now, the system that you use for the heating element is by Gerbing, of course, and it's the Xtreme Microwire. Richa have done it a little bit differently compared to the competitors in that they have changed up the way that they wire the system in the gloves. Most manufacturers or their competitors actually put the wiring system on the back of your hand and it goes to your fingertips that way. However, Richa have done it in a different manner in that it actually goes in between your fingers and around your fingertips, giving us heat where it matters the most, of course, the fingertips. For the construction of the Richa Inferno gloves, for the most part it's made out of a 600D cord Dura, and on the inside you have a goatskin palm to give you better handling on the grips, because these are some thick boys. Now, on the inner lining it is a spandex material, so it flexes around your fingers to give you a better fit. It's also fleece lined, making it nice and soft and comfortable when you have the heating element on. It has a scaffold protection system on the inner palm of the hand to protect you in the case you do have an off. It has a wrist strap closure system there, as well as a drawstring cord. Now, it also has an Aquashell LTZ membrane to keep you completely waterproof, snowproof, and it's also wind resistant, so your hands won't get all chilly or cold when you're out and about on the road. For the knuckle protection, they use the D30 armor, which is nice and malleable, soft on the back of your knuckles when you're riding along the road. But if you do have an off, it'll be nice and protective. Now let's talk about how to use the heating element on these gloves. So how does the heating element actually work? Well, there's 3 different modes: warm, warmer, and freaking warm. Now, starting off with the lower setting at a blue light, which is at around 33% of the glove's full capacity at 30 degrees. You have the orange light at 66% of the full capacity at 60 degrees, and the Inferno mode is the 100% capacity of the gloves at 90 degrees. And actually, in the user manual, it tells you to hold down the button for 10 seconds before you can activate the Inferno mode. It also comes with a disclaimer for us, the consumers, to be careful when wearing these gloves because they can get really, really hot. Within the box, you get connectors to go directly into your bike's battery, and we'll show you that in just a sec. We're outside now, so I can show you how to install the wires that come with the kit on the Richa Inferno gloves. It's a quick and easy little process. First off, you need to take your seat off, get the wires out, and now that we can have access to your battery, what I would suggest is first taking off the negative terminal and then moving on to the positive terminal. And then when installing the wires, you have 2 different wires connections. So you have one that's a red live wire and one that's a ground. First off, we'll be putting on the live wire. Right, so what I like to do is I'll put it under the bolt so I have something to clamp it down in between the 2 terminals. I pinch this down here, push this into its slot, get my handy little screwdriver. Mine's a Phillips screw. Some of you may have Allen keys to screw down your terminal. Moving on to the next part, we'll put on the ground wire underneath the bolt again, like so. Use your screwdriver to help guide it in. Find its slot. This can be a little bit finicky, but as soon as it's situated in, should just easily screw in like so. Like that. Route the wires in a place that doesn't get a kink and tighten it down. Now, when you have this excess cable that connects to the gloves, find a way that you can route it through and out of the side so it's easily accessible for you to plug in and unplug when you want to. For me, this is not a permanent fixture, so I'm going to not do that routing process here, but I'm going to show you how to connect them up and how it's actually going to work with this connected to the gloves. So in the bag you have a different connector for the gloves itself. So this is the connector for the gloves. This is the one that's connected to the battery. Now that this is in this position here, they supply us with nice little fuses in order to protect our bike in the case that it shorts. It's in this little slot here. You put them in any orientation, just slot it in, and it should just click in to place like that. There you go. That's all nice and safe now. We close that up. We can move on to connecting these together. So you get 2 different connectors there. Like I said, you get a little fuse that you have to put into this little slot just in case it does short. If you go into the little zip pocket at the back of the glove, you find that these connectors have a male and female. Put them together and that should be all ready and set. Press the button and there you go. But if that's too much of a faff, you can actually buy the rechargeable batteries from Richa. That comes in at around 119.99 RRP, which is quite pricey, bringing your whole total up to around £140. But it's definitely worth it if you want something a bit more portable. For the charge time and the amount of usage you can get out of a full battery, the Eco Light mode, which is the blue setting, you can get 4.5 hours out of. The orange or the middle setting is around 2.5 hours, and the Inferno mode is an hour and a half. So now let's test it out in the real life. So here are the Richa Inferno gloves that we're going to be testing out on the road today. It's the perfect weather for it. It's a bit gloomy, it's cold, it's raining a little bit, so we'll test out all the features of this glove. These are waterproof, like I said earlier in the video, so that's going to be great. So it won't be that annoying. My hands aren't going to get wet, and instantly as I put them in, my hands into the glove, you can feel the warmth without it even being turned on. Right, these are going to be quite bulky. I have not ridden with such bulky gloves before, and let's see how they feel on the grips. But first, let's get onto the road and then go through all the different settings, shall we? We set off, I've put it onto the eco mode, which is this blue light. This is 33% of its full capacity at 30 degrees. I already feel it heating up. Now let's just see how we'll do against the wind. So instantly, while going on that little strip of road, we're going around 50 miles an hour. Don't feel any difference in the comfort inside of the gloves. However, my handling or my control of the handlebars and the levers and the such is very minimal. It's actually quite daunting, but these are bulkier gloves, so that's what you will expect with something of this nature. Being so big, it's going to be so difficult to actually maneuver the handlebars or feel the throttle response or put the clutch in or the brake in. I feel like the fingers get caught on it, and this is the right size for my hands before you start questioning that. There's yeah, so apart from that, it's working well, it's doing all right. Let's put it onto the next mode, which is the medium mode of orange at 66% of its full capacity. There we go. So I guess that's orange right there, and then we go and do that the same for this one. So this is orange here on either side, 66% at 60 degrees. Instantly I feel like it's a lot warmer, and we are going at around motorway speeds ish at around 50 miles an hour, and it seems to be holding out alright. My hands are completely dry still, super warm at 66% of its full capacity at around 50 miles an hour. Okay, let's go back and pull over, as we all have to pull over now to change the settings, because I don't suggest changing the settings while on the go. And to access the Inferno mode, you do have to hold the button down for about 10 seconds, which is quite a long period of time. My suggestion is, at a pinch, you could probably change between the two different settings, 33% and 66%. But if you want to access Inferno, definitely pull over, as you have to do that 10-second button press on either side. So it is relatively comfortable on the hands. It's just the fact of trying to access some of the levers and even the indicator. It's a bit difficult as they are quite bulky, and the throttle response is a bit difficult as well. But that's a kind of a compromise you'll have to make with bigger, thicker winter gloves, especially with the heated elements incorporated into these gloves. So to access the Inferno mode, you have to hold it down for 10 seconds and it should go red. And then that will be the full potential of 100% of its capacity at 90 degrees. There we go, that's red on that side. I'll hold on the other side. There we go. Now let's see how it fares as it heats up a bit more. So let's get back into Infinity Motorcycles, and I'll talk to you guys back in the studio. Right, so back in the studio, I can talk to you guys about the 3 different heat settings. Starting off with the eco mode, I found that to be warm, but not warm enough for the temperatures that we have here in the south of England. However, the Orange mode at 66% of its full capacity was fantastic. It was the perfect temperature. I could definitely live with that day to day. The Inferno mode, on the other hand, was very, very warm, and I don't think I'll be putting it on that mode that often down here in the south of England. However, if you're up in Cumbria or in Scotland, where it does go sub-zero for quite a few days in the year, then it'll probably suit you. Or if you have bad circulation in your hands, this will suit you as well. Overall though, the construction of the glove is fantastic. It is a very neutral style, so it would suit any kind of rider. It is a little bit bulkier, but that's what to expect with something that's going to keep your hands warm. The extra optional batteries at $119.99 do put this at the higher end of the spectrum in terms of heated gloves in the market. However, it definitely could be worth it. The drawstrings on the side here, I found it difficult to do with both gloves on, but they do serve a purpose. But those are just my thoughts, so let me know what you think down in the comments below. Give us a like, be sure to subscribe, ride safe, and see you all soon.